I am Whalerenth, and JC is also here with me today, hosting what will inevitably be one of the best races in the zero emission any percent tournament. As JC mentioned, this is winners finals between rossu123 and Eagle, both of which are runners who have some of the top times in the category. However, what is might make this race more interesting is that lately neither of these runners have had a particularly large amount of time to play the game, so they are both very, very rusty.
Yep, and then Eagle he's been at this run for probably a couple years longer than Rossu, and he tends to de-rust pretty fast. He'll probably be, by the time we get to Chozodia, Eagle will probably be de-rusted enough, and we'll see that come out towards the end of it. Rossu tends to take a little bit longer to de-rust, but they won't be so rusty that we'll see anything too significant as far as any near-death experiences.
No, however, they both know how strong their opponents are, so we will most likely be seeing the most dangerous strats and the least possible item pickups from all of them. Here in Brinstar, which is where they start out, you'll see some of the most difficult platforming and possibly some of the most... Yeah, you know what? Let's just go with the most difficult platforming. It involves a lot of vertical rooms, and climbing vertical rooms is a lot more difficult than climbing a lot of horizontal rooms due to being able to perfectly time your jumps.
Yeah, but a lot of movement in this game is based around stay on the ground as much as you possibly. Samus moves at roughly half the speed as her running speed while she's in the air.
Both runners are getting the double, the frame perfect double on the worm. That allows them to kill it in 2 hits. Up in this climb that Ross and Eagle have just completed, we're hunting for missiles, and while Ross didn't quite get any, Eagle has exactly the number he wants for this hive room coming up. Each hive, of which there are 3 of, takes 3 missiles and 2 beams to kill, so Eagle can quickly rush through this room, while Ross needs to spend an extra 4 or 5 seconds shooting this first hive right here.
But fortunately, he does have at least 1 missile that way. It's like this one on the left, you can just stand next to it and spam your beam until it dies. On these other 2, you have to be juggling around the room while avoiding these bugs, not try to get beat up by them too much. But with having that 1 missile, what that missile pack gives you 6, lets you just kind of breeze through this little top section with relative ease.
Alright, they're pretty much done their early item collecting after they pick up this bombs item, just a little bit away. Bombs allows them to kind of choose their own route. They can either head down to Norfair or head up to Crade, or down to Crade. But traditional any percent route will end up going to Norfair instead, because you want to fight Ridley first. Because though Crade, I believe they're similar with regards to in-game time, but going to Crade first results in an extra long cutscene that no one wants to sit through. So, as a result, we fight Ridley first, so we don't have to see the cutscene.
And another side effect of fighting Ridley first is we get super missiles while in Norfair and in the Ridley area. In the Crade first route, they have to do a 15 missile strat into Crade's mouth, whereas in this particular route, 3 supers will just take out Crade before he even does anything.
Yeah, so our runners are going to be heading down to Norfair. They'll take a quick detour over to Criteria, where they'll pick up the Plasma Beam and Power Grip and a few more missile tanks. At the end of this run, our runners are going to have 50 missiles, so that they can quickly dispatch of the Metroids and the Zeb Centurion, unless they opt to do a certain trick that I'll talk about later. So Eagle just picked up the Charge Beam. That's a particularly interesting item, and it's been heavily debated for a long time. It's not actually required by any means, it's just in the way, and it takes 5 to 6 seconds to grab. So a lot of runners grab it just out of necessity, since it's such a useful item to have, and Pseudo Screw makes a lot of rooms easy, especially in the earlier sections of Norfair.
Yep, and it's basically required for one of the things they're really trying to do right now. Is they really want to conserve missiles. They want to conserve their energy for coming up for one of the more trickier parts. One of the trickier bosses in the game, the mini boss, Imagu, takes 18 missiles in optimal strat, and right now they don't quite have that. So, trying to keep their missile count high and possibly skip a refill if they can.
Yep. Ross in particular is going to need to watch his health a little. Oh, okay, never mind. He got that large health. But you definitely want to watch your missile count going through Norfair because, as JC mentioned, there is a refill that you can skip over at Ice Beam. But if you're not full on health, then that lowers the odds of getting missile drops from all of the vines in the Vine Room. That's before the Imago. So, you can speak.
Yeah, so we just saw the first of the 3 unknown items in here. In the early part of the game, it's used to unlock these little blocks that have these special symbols on it. This particular item is a plasma beam, which we'll get to see later on. But it's one of the required things just so we can progress through the path, so we can make it up to Power Grip. Interesting with the Power Grip, like, it's not strictly required for anything due to being able to bomb jump and wall jump all over the place. However, really soon once you get back into Norfair, we're not going to see it in this run because it's already gone, but there is a vine that past the elevator room, past the save room over there, and its trigger to go away is having Power Grip in your inventory.
Yep, so the big reason they come over here is for both Plasma Beam and Power Grip. Because even if the Vine wasn't necessarily there, I want to say that I'm pretty confident the runners would still be picking up Power Grip because Plasma Beam is required to kill the Black Metal Pirates at the end, and Power Grip is right here. And if you've ever played a randomizer of Zero Mission, you'll understand just how useful and how important Power Grip is. You won't really notice this if you're just playing casual, but there are a lot of platforms that you grab due to how they distance the platforms, and you don't really notice just how much you use Power Grip until you don't have it.
That for sure. And you do jump a little bit higher if you come out of a Power Grip jump than you do out of a wall jump as well. Not by much, but
it's also a
enough
little
to make a difference.
Faster for a task.
Alright, Eagle's making his way to Ice Beam, and then from Ice Beam we're going to take a short little detour, or short little tour through a hidden part of Norfair that lets us make it all the way down to the Ridley area without having speed booster as the, I guess, first time intended path. I mean, the path to Ridley is completely intended because they put that path in there, but there's also, in the very first statue of the game, we noticed that the game likes to lead Samus around and marks on the map where the game wants you to go. So we just kind of skipped that intended sequence from that.
Yep, what's really, really cool about Zero Mission is they like to guide you around, but they also give you the opportunity to ignore what they say. That way you can kind of choose your own adventure in a way. We can see Eagle is taking the aforementioned path down to Ridley. And he's got a lot of missiles right now, so he's going to quickly go through this Vine Room, perhaps pick up a few more missiles, and dispatch of this cocoon. Oh, he's got exactly enough, so he's going to have to be extra careful here.
Yeah, but this mini boss, for me, it's the hardest part of the entire run. It's like it's a lot easier than what you'll see on the actual boss fights, just because of the ability to easily spam missiles all over the place. For Imago Cocoon, there's these 3 vines on each side that you have to destroy in order to defeat this boss. and while avoiding some rippers, avoiding the little spores being shot out.
So it appears there Eagle was playing on Japanese. If it's close enough, he has said that he will take the loss. To give Chad an idea, I believe English is about 8.5 seconds slower than Japanese.
Something like that. Like, as opposed to fusions, like, there's a lot less text mashing that you have to do in this game, so it's not as huge of a difference as you'll see in a lot of other games between the languages, but at the level that we're looking at, where we can easily see the race come down to less than 10-15 seconds, it's a big enough difference for that.
Eagle is having a rough time at this Ridley segment. Didn't even have enough missiles, so he had to farm a little. He's also got a little bit less health than Ross. Entering the Disgiga room right now. This room has been known, and a lot of the new players runs. These Disgigas will do lots of damage. Our top runners here absolutely know how to deal with it, so they get to just breeze through here using the ice and charge beam. This is actually an excellent place where the charge beam comes in handy, since charge beam guarantees you freeze any enemy. Short high five between the two runners. Eagle's heading to pick up his second super. Ross just picking up his first.
I wonder how confident they are with their strategies today, if they're going to stay with the one E-Tank route for this race, or if they're going to go ahead and grab that E-Tank route behind Ridley.
It's certainly something I've been thinking about too. They know their opponents are incredibly good, and absolutely either of them are capable of winning this race. So if I had to guess, I'd say I'm expecting them both to skip the Ridley E-Tank, and depending on their drops, they may grab the second E-Tank. Ross is really low on health. Yup.
Eagle skipping it.
Eagle is skipping the Ridley E-Tank.
Alright,
as I had predicted, both of them have skipped the E-Tank. Ridley is currently dead for Eagle.
So a lot of the bosses is take damage, pump missiles. As you see, Eagle just barely made it out of that alive. If he was, the big thing that they're trying to make sure they do is make sure Ridley doesn't turn around while they're doing the damage boost, otherwise he won't fly up.
And Ridley is dead for Ross.
Yep, and then being in critical HP, it greatly increases the chances for health drops. They want some super drops pretty fast. There's a few enemies that have a pretty high chance of getting it. Eagle, go ahead and grab the second E-Tank right.
I can't say I blame him. He's got a lot of missiles, so he's going to easily be able to dispatch these owls coming up here in a bit to refarm his supers. Ridley shafted both of our runners today, though. No super drops for either of them. Ross also opting to pick up the E-Tank. Little bit of safety never hurt anyone, and it's not exactly out of the way.
Yep, those little owls right at the end of this Ridley's, they have a pretty high drop rate for the super missiles. So it's really nice just to be able to wait off a little bit.
Yep, I believe it's about a 75-76% chance.
Yep, and then they'll grab a couple missile packs along the way, and they still want a few regular missiles for some strats later on, so they can try to keep running through a room rather than stopping to deal with some.
Yep, later on in Kraid.
And since we haven't grabbed Screw Attack or Speed Booster yet, we have to take an alternate route through to get back out of this North area. But very first, we're going to go ahead and grab High Jump. It does quite a few things. One, of course, it makes you jump higher. Two, it makes you jump up faster. And then the third one is a little bit more important as far as a final little mini sequence break. Not exactly a sequence break, but for a shortcut at the very end of the game. Is the ability to spark while in ball form.
Eagle's movement throughout Norfair has been significantly better. He's steadily increasing his lead against Ross.
Yes, like he's playing like as if he's already de-rested already now. It's like he's pretty fast at the de-rest game.
Yep. However, Eagle may be increasing his lead now, but he still has the most punishing part of the run yet to...
Yep, we have two significant RNG sections coming up.
Yep, two significant RNG sections and an extra section that takes a huge amount of skill. So now that Ridley has been dispatched of, we need to head down to Kraid. As we mentioned before, Kraid is a joke. He just dies to 3 supers, and you don't really see much of him. But his lair hides a trick that is most infamous, the Acid Worm skip. Both of our runners have been playing this game for years, so I'm sure neither of them will have trouble with it. But it does lose 10-15 seconds if they mess it up.
Yep, this allows them to skip a mini boss known as Acid Worm. That's what we're called AWS. But basically, there's just enough room if you do a bomb jump that's perfectly timed, as well as unmorphing at the right.
Oh no! Eagle tried to go for a very, very fast strat, I think. Okay. Either way, he gets AWS first try. Good for him.
Yep, in general, so the Acid Worm boss in the route there takes roughly 30-40 seconds. So in general, if you have 2 times that you can fail this trick before it loses time, and this is the easier version of the skip. There's some other methods that we won't discuss here unless Ross messes up on this one and needs to do a backup, which he does not. So good for both runners. Eagle just outside the Kraid fight.
And Ross just showed us exactly what it means for the Ice Beam to make some weird shenanigans. You can clip through some enemies half the time. It's kind of...
Yeah, a lot of the fun glitches involve frozen things in the GBA Metro.
In fact, we might be seeing that again later in Turian.
Oh, there was a boss fight on Eagle's side, wasn't there?
I certainly wasn't watching it. I was too busy paying attention to Ross.
And he gets the refill glitch at Speed Booster.
Oh, the blue man.
Oh yeah, so awesome. So basically what's going on there is like, normally like the game makes you watch 2 different texts, and you have to wait for them to go, but if you grab the item pickup the same frame that you hit the refill trigger, you'll be able to do both at the same time effectively, and just save a tiny bit of time.
Yep. Going for the blue man actually loses, I want to say, about a half a second though. But it's really, really cool to see. So I think Eagle is trying to please the viewers.
Swag over speed.
He's got the time to spare, so I can't say I blame him. I wonder if any of our runners will go for Brinstar Super today.
I think they will. So there's a super missile. I mean, you just need speed booster and high jump in order to get. The intended way is to go back to where we first fought the King Worm, and then split up a spark from there. But a tight series of jumps and stuff while holding the spark to spark into this, and then come up here and do a speed ball boost over to the left. Gets us an easy access to the super right here.
Nailed it.
So easy every time for him. You have a few frames of error, but not very much. It's like if you drop a jump, you missed it.
I would say though that the hardest part, at least for me personally, is storing the spark in the first place in the save room.
And you get like 3 frames, I think it is, something really small. You have to store basically as soon as you get speed. But fortunately,
you can see that Ross did not go for the Brinstar Super, so he's going to have to pick up an extra super in Chozodia, and Turian's going to be a little bit slower from him since he won't have the extra insurance of having 2 additional.
I will make note that technically that super that Eagle Grab would be slower in perfect RNG. The one that Rossu's gonna grab later on is just a couple seconds away. However, it's like, so we have how many Metroids again? We have 1, 3, 4, 5, and another 5. I forget
something.
Quite a few. They either die to 1 super or 5 missiles, and you're at the mercy of how many super drops you get. So having that extra super here on average saves a bit of time, but it's just depending on the drops.
A lot of people do like to call Turian the RNG simulator, and I will agree that it is a huge RNG simulator. But I would like to point out that a lot of the reason people spend so much time in Turian and struggling is because they don't entirely understand the proper usage of missiles. There is a lot to rely on for the supers, but if you play your cards right with using your missiles, then you will often have exactly what you need come time for the Mother Brain fight, or close to it.
Eagles in the final Metroid room had not the greatest drops, but not the absolute worst. But
he's gonna have to farm for supers here, and that may take him a long time. Normally, you would want 4 supers after this segment, and they only have slightly less than a 10% chance from these green Rinkas.
Rossu actually had pretty good drops overall.
Yep, and he's not using those supers.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Ross is getting grabbed. No, Ross!
Come on! Oh my
help.
gosh. Even a Rinky can kill him right now.
He did not want to lure that extra Metroid, I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
But this is going to be an opportunity for Ross to take the lead over Eagle since he has all the supers he could ever.
So, Rinkas. Green Rinkas always drop something every time you kill them, if you're not full on everything. And as long as you drop from the previous one from the same spawn. Red ones, they drop things sometimes.
Anyways, you can see just how much time Ross saved over Eagle, because Eagle didn't get any supers for like 5 years. Ross is going for Zeb's. There we go.
So if you manage to skip his Zebetite by doing some frame perfect unmorphing and stuff, it causes its partner to basically disappear.
Ross doesn't have the ammo to kill the brain.
Just needs 2 more drop.
I must say, this has been a hilarious tournament. I mean, a hilarious Turian. From saving time to losing time in a matter of seconds.
Okay, for those joining in that have not been part of this tournament, have not been catching any part of this tournament, so or just in general not very familiar. This is a remake of or reimagining of the original Metroid. This is the point where it would have ended, but in this new edition we get a fun new section, including a little stealth section while Samus has lost her power suit, and we get to see a lot of fun stuff and pretty challenging stuff to do efficiently.
Alright, so Eagle has begun the suitless segment where you play as Zero Suit Samus. What's special about this segment is Samus gets the ability to crawl. I know, that's a pretty big deal.
Metroid's crawling? What?
Without her suit, she can't actually hurt anything. So she's just going to be freezing these pirates up and coming to prevent them from attacking her. Fortunately, Suitless is one of the few segments where there is no RNG whatsoever. So all of the pirates will always be in the same place, making it a consistent segment.
As long as you move exactly the same.
Eagle opts to take the heal. It's certainly a smart play, given he's ahead of Ross. And it'll give him an extra 2 hits from these pirates.
And then you already knows that Eagle instantly triggered the alarms in this section.
Skips the map. Oh, I wasn't confident he would skip it there.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he made it through that one after bumping that ceiling right there. But anyways, alarms in here, so pirates don't know where you are.
So Eagle is showing us another one of those intended shortcuts the developers love to hide around, making it easy to get from place to place. They'll be seeing another one of those in probably less than half a minute or so.
Opts for no fast doors or fast short slides.
Eagle chooses to skip the fast searchlight strat. I guess I can't blame him for that.
Yeah, saves just a few seconds if you get it, but wastes a lot of time if you fail it. Yep, in this room that Eagle's in, they hit another fun path in. Once you fall down here, it's like it automatically stops the searchlight or the alarms. Anyways, right here, Eagle's going to be triggering this alarm on purpose. Turn around for a quick strat. Since everything is fixed in the pirate section, and you move through this little section quickly and stop right here, you will deactivate the alarm right around there.
So Eagle is hastily getting to the most dangerous segment of the suitless part. The pirates up and coming have been known to kill many a runner. However, Eagle and Ross both refilled, so I don't think they're in any risk of dying.
Yeah, big part is not dropping any wall jumps here. There's a section at the very end of this little sequence that if you drop all the way down, you'll be greeted with like 3 pirates. Not a fun time there.
Yeah, it is referred to often as the pirate pit of death because your death is almost certain.
No matter how many tanks you have, unless you're on 100%.
Yep. Unless you opt to reset the room. That is. Eagle making a beautiful pattern for us today with those shot blocks, or the crumble blocks.
Alright, as Eagle enters into that cutscene, Ross is just a few rooms behind at this point. So coming up is, we call him Charlie. We basically wait around until Charlie doesn't have a mirror image of Samus in his little orb, and then we shoot it.
Yep. For all intents and purposes, this is the only RNG section of Suitless. Charlie can hold from ever showing you his thing, and so you can lose easily 10 seconds or more here just because he's trolling.
Yep, and then the big thing on this fight is after you get that first shot in, to always keep moving, at least a little, to avoid one of the lightning attacks just from coming at the unfortunate time.
Yep. If you move, Charlie will never have lightning directed at you. In his final phase, he will fire lightning in the center, but he still won't fire lightning at you. Eagle misses a shot.
That was a pretty fast one too for there, with an unfortunate lightning at the wrong time.
So we didn't explain this for Eagle, but since Ross is fighting Charlie now too, if you shoot Charlie after you shoot a sigil, it will reduce the amount of time, on average, that you will need to wait for him to show you his next sigil by about a second.
Yep, so those unknown items that we grabbed much earlier in the game, beating Charlie gives us access to all of those with this newly powered up suit. So we get that space jump, lets us continually jump in the air all the time. We get the plasma beam, and we get gravity suit. It also randomly gives us Vario suit too, just for kicks.
Yeah, getting Various, I never really understood why you get Various suit in the first place, but on Eagle's screen you noticed that there was a super that he did not pick up. You will see Ross picking up that super in just a moment here.
Alright, the next minute of this game is basically backtracking all the way back to where we started this section, almost. And then we get to make our way to the final boss with Mecha Ridley. And can be pretty easy, can be pretty hard depending on how he starts the fight.
Yep, they're looking for a quick swipe. Sometimes Mecha wants to swipe immediately, sometimes you'll need to wait.
And sometimes he wants to fire missiles instead of swiping.
Yeah, sometimes it gives you a bad time. So from this point on, you will notice that Eagle is going to be using a lot of these pirates as platforms to stand on to hasten the time it takes to get through this room. Or some of these rooms, I should say.
Some of the fun properties on frozen enemies is, it's like on a lot of the other platforming, you have to basically time your jumps absolutely perfectly. When you jump into into frozen enemies in a little bit wider window, it gives you like an instant land on and lets you resume your running speed a little bit faster, or lets you do that next jump a lot sooner. Oh. Ross did not get his... I mean, he was mentioning he was having some controller issues, like right when we were setting up this race. Wouldn't be surprised if that was the case right there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not entirely sure what the issue was with this controller. Eagle, it looks to be doing the helpful pirate strat. No, I guess not.
And then Eagle's in one of the more challenging rooms in this final segment and it's really important to have really tight movement in this one, just to make sure those pirates, as you're going up and down these different shafts over there, are in a ideal position.
Eagle is rounding out his run here as he is a mere 2 rooms away from Mecha Ridley. Anyways, I think I can pretty much say at this point that Eagle has won this race.
I mean, he can always mess up Black Pirates and get bullied around there.
He could.
Not likely, but
I think Eagle knows what he's doing. That was a pretty quick swipe.
Best swipe ever. Rouse, be careful there. Alright, he should be fine.
If he gets missiles from Mecha. I've also heard that Mecha can give fire. I'm not sure what causes him to do that.
Fire would suck if that's how he opened. So Mecha Ridley, he does a swipe attack, he does a missile attack regardless of what phase he's in. If you notice, like it's like where they shoot Mecha, whenever there's still glass there, his third attack will be a little fire wave, not necessarily wave, but a little bit of a fire spread. And then once the glass is broken, he could attack with lasers in different angles. So if anything ever goes wrong, you might see those random attacks in the speedrun. And Eagle is heading up for our favorite ball spark.
Yep. And Ross showed us a nice door bomb, exiting Mecha to save just a few frames.
So Black Pirate AI is a little bit broken. You can shoot them from this corner, and they just decide they don't want to climb. And just like that, Eagle is done. Sub 40.
He finishes with an official SRL time of 40.00.
Nice. Ross terribly far behind.
Apparently Ross has been dealing with choppy game.
Eagle was definitely in the chip before the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, you had to manually type that done, and everyone knows typing takes 5 years. Ross also showing us a beautiful ball spark across the top reaches of the ship.
The most important part of this ball spark is we don't have to deal with work robot in extra time. Black Power decided he didn't want to come up for a little bit.
Yep. And Ross finishes with an official SRL time of 41:11.
GG to both, right? And we do have Rossu here.
GG, Ross.
What's going on?
I've been hearing that you've been having lots of technical difficulties over the course of this race.
I should have tested everything. I recently got a new operating system, and I had to reinstall a bunch of stuff. Of course, I was only concerned about Super Metroid capture.
Yes, SM Rando has been keeping you busy.
Yeah, so I totally forgot to make sure that my GBA capture was good. I also had issues with my controller getting the computer to recognize this 3 controller, which was the cause of the delay earlier. But yeah, I mean, this is as good as I can hope for with the fact that I was playing on basically, it felt like 15 to 20 FPS for me.
I believe it. You said your game was extremely choppy.
Yeah, it was really, really bad, and I'm lucky that I was able to pull off some of the things that I did, like Acid Worm Skip, Zeb Skip, Double Worm.
I personally am always satisfied to see the door bomb at the end of the game.
Door bomb.
GG
overall,
Eagle.
I can't complain.
Hello?
Hey, Eagle.
Congrats on your victory, Eagle.
Not even a sub 40 Eagle, really?
I'm trying to make my microphone work because Discord is reading 2 things differently. I think I hear you now. Say something.
I
Hi.
said not even sub 40, really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Okay, I can hear you guys now. It's good.
He did actually get a 39-38.
No. We go by
When-
SRL
when he-
time here.
When he entered the ship, it was not 40 minutes yet.
Yes, but he was playing on Japanese, so we needed
Oh, yeah.
8.5 seconds.
Forgot about that.
I got a 40. It's alright. Not the best thing in the world. I had a really, really horrific Torian.
Oh, Ross's Turian was something to talk about, especially the Zeb room. That was rough.
Well,
Yeah.
that was. I can't blame Ross because that was his chance to catch up for sure.
No, I got grabbed and nearly died.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Well,
was at 13 energy, I think it was.
I
You
was,
had
yeah,
the
that was
chance.
energy. I'm blaming that on my choppy capture or whatever. I gotta fix this, but
I'll have
the
you
big
know,
thi-
though,
The
Ross.
big thing is you recovered.
Yeah, I'll have you know, Ross. Despite going down to 13 health, your farm was still like twice as fast as Eagle's.
well, yeah, I didn't need supers at all. So all I needed was 49 missiles. Even then, what was it? The third Zeb? No, the third Zeb
Last
gave
one.
me issues. The last one, because of the fact that like I'm trying to shoot as fast as I can, but missiles were not coming out with this frame rate that I was playing on.
right.
But it's okay. I mean, I got Zeb Skip second.
You got a
try.
certain French dude to beat in loses.
Oh, that's not even a concern.
No, I know it's not.
I'm not even slightly
You got this.
concerned about destroying French people.
Yep.
Zero mission races.
You got this. I should update the bracket. The first update in forever.
There was an update last week.
Oh, it's been updated already. Okay. Alright. And we have the next match is Wednesday, I think.
Yep, between Dragon Fangs and Axodo. That'll be a good match.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Well, anyway, good game, Lars. It was good that we could get this match out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we can
Now with holidays
bring
and
an end to this
DVDs
tournament
done.
soon.
Yep. I'm off, but thanks for commentating. Thanks for...
Yeah, commentating today was a little rough at the end there. My audio entirely just decided to shut off, so I couldn't hear what anyone was saying. Not the audio of the game, not the audio of JC. So
Right.
I kind of just started commentating and hoped that I wasn't commentating over JC, but I'm not sure how that went.
No big deal.
No biggie. Alright.
No big
See
deal.
you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. Let's see what's on Speed Gaming coming up today.
Nothing on this channel. Oh, looks like we got Donkey Kong Country 3 assigned to this recently. To this channel. Wasn't there earlier. So that's coming up right up after this. As soon as we sign off, we'll be getting set up for Donkey Kong Country 3. That'll be fun.
Yep, and it looks like there's a Super Mario 64 race on the Dutch Speed Gaming channel. There's also some ALTTP Rando and some Combo Rambo going on right now.
Yep, later on this channel, there's some Delta Room. Haven't quite caught that run yet, but it should be pretty made by from the same guy as Undertale.
Yep, there's also some Z1 M1 Rando coming on tonight, and some more Donkey Kong Country 3 and Mario World stuff.
And definitely check out the Portals 2 stuff coming up at 6, though. All kinds of shenanigans when it comes to that game.
Anyways, that's basically it for us. I'd like to once again point out that the next Zero Mission Any % race is on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time between Axodo and Dragon Fangs. That is getting closer to the end of the losers bracket, so any race from here on out is going to be consisting of excellent top-tier runners. So try and see all of them if you can.
I found the reason why my game was choppy.
I was
Throttled it.
I was playing it on GDI and not Direct 3D.
Oh my.
Good job.
Yeah, great.
Anyways, with that, I think we can hand it back to SG since we're done here, right?
Yep.
Right.
Have a good day, everyone.
See y'all.
See everybody.